When I was 5, my dad got a gig in LA. It was only for 6 months, so my parents packed us kids up and we drove down to California, and we ended up in Santa Monica. Now, Santa Monica was a whole new world, especially for a girl like me. I was from the Canadian prairies, in the country, and I didn't have a whole lot of exposure to cultures beyond my own. Nothing could have prepared me for everything Mexican. My first Mexican experience was my first kiss. His name was Jose. He got me right on the lips at the bottom of the slide. Now, as shocking as that was, I kind of liked it. But I can't say that for the food. In fact, I wouldn't eat it. It was just way too hot, and I didn't know how to handle that. My dad, on the other hand, he loved it and couldn't get enough. So when we got home to Canada, my mom learned a few choice dishes. And this is the dish that changed my mind about Mexican food. Today I'm going to show you a way to incorporate even the most sensitive of taste buds into this new culture in a fun and tasty way. Today we're making Chiles Rellenos. Now, typically, Chiles Rellenos is made with the poblano pepper. See that? It's kind of like a typical green pepper, except it's got a little bit more smoky flavor, but it's quite mild. My mom forever has used the Anaheim pepper. This one's a little bit more tricky to work with because it has a thinner membrane, but it's got some heat. That's why I like it. The idea here is we are going to roast these peppers, and then we're going to stuff them. Then we're going to batter them with an egg mixture, and we're going to fry them. This is all about flavor today. So let's get this stove hot and get these peppers burning. What we want to do is put the peppers directly on the flame. You got it. Now, usually, Chiles Rellenos is served with a red sauce. I'm changing that up today, and I'm going with a tomatillo sauce, a salsa verde. Now, in that salsa verde, I also need some peppers roasted. And typically, this salsa verde is made with the serrano pepper. Jalapenos may be a little bit more available where you live, but the serrano is 5 times hotter. So because we're roasting them, they're going to lose some of the heat. So I'm going to go with 2 serranos today. Do you hear them crackling away? So we're just going to let those burn. Now, of course, see, this is what we're going for. Now you can do this on an electric stove. You can do it on a pan. You can use a broiler. Just burn them. We want to get the skins all charred. The next ingredient I'm going to introduce you to is the star of the salsa verde, and that is the tomatillo. Look at it. You have to peel away this protective layer to get inside. And the fruit is really sticky. In fact, this is a natural pesticide. And all of this is poison. We need to wash off that sticky film. And then we're going to slice them and roast them. The roasting is the key to this recipe. Now, we've also got some cilantro here as well. This is going to go in the salsa verde. And we're getting a couple of garlics and a shallot all roasted up as well when we do these tomatillos. Get rid of the poison. We want to wash all this poison off. Although the name tomatillo may denote a tomato, in fact, it's a fruit, and it's from the ground cherry family. It's very tart and acidic. That is, until you roast it. Look at this one. Don't worry, it's pretty hard to overchar these, but obviously, don't leave them unattended. The aroma in here is insane. we're going to get a paper bag. Now, you'll see recipes where they are using a plastic bag. Think about heat and plastic together. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to take these Serranos. They are done. I'm going to throw those in the bag. This one is getting super close. We're still a ways off though. I love the crackling. If you have dinner guests, they'll be fighting over who does this. Believe me. All right, see? That one's done. Now, when they're in the bag cooling, they're going to sweat. It'd be really easy to get those skins off. All right, that one is done. You're going to see when you work with them as well that the poblano is going to maintain a little bit more structure than the Anaheim. And I'll show you that when we cook it. All right. Come on, baby, burn. All right. Okay, first, we are going to just seal this bag down and place it over here to rest. Next, we're going to get this pan hot and ready to roast these tomatillos. First, we're going to get garlic ready and some shallots. I'm going to go with 4 cloves of garlic because when we roast them, they get way less pungent. I guess I could have done this earlier. I tried to write a script this time. I'm 3 days delayed. Everything has to be organic or it's just not going to work, and I'm not even fighting it anymore. If I try to plan it perfect, nope. And that's the same as cooking. We're going to get these in the pan. We are just going to half these tomatillos. Just like this. No oil in the pan. You want to roast them. And we're going to want to watch those. All right. See, they're just getting a char there. Just starting out. Just want to move them around so they don't stick. Let's let these roast, and we're going to get on to making the filling and the batter. Now, normally, Chiles Rellenos is made with a Mexican melting cheese. We don't have that here, so I have to improvise. A lot of people would use mozzarella, for example, but always I'm looking for more digestion. This is pretty mild, so I decided to jump it up another little notch, and that is with a goat Asiago for a little bit more punch. This is the really super melty cheese, and this one's the flavor cheese. Now, in a lot of Chiles Rellenos recipes, I see sometimes up to a cup of cheese. That's insane. That's what makes this dish unhealthy. We're not going to do that. We are going to use just enough to create wonderful flavor and texture and make this dish pop without a stupid, gluttonous amount of food. So we need to grate this up and just get it ready for the stuffing. We are going to be skinning these peppers, and then we are going to stuff them with the cheese. The Asiago is going to definitely take it up a notch. You wouldn't want to rely on the Asiago alone because it's a little too hard and it's not going to melt as well on its own, but together, oh yeah. Now I've got 4 peppers to stuff. The poblanos are a little larger than the Anaheims. Okay. It looks like these are ready to go. they become a whole lot softer. See what I mean? Now, instead of a paper bag, we are going to let these babies sweat in a glass container. Why? I want to capture the juice that sweats out of these tomatillos. Just that. I'm even going to get the shallot and the garlic. Cover it and let them sweat. So now we're going to reach in the bag and get out our peppers. So now what we want to do is we want to just rub that skin off super gently. Just like that. Of course, it'll help over a sink with a little bit of water. I don't want to get them too saturated though, because I want them nice and dry so I can batter them. The Anaheims are way more sensitive. So I want to be careful because I need the split, but I need to stuff this, so I don't want it falling all over the place. Now the serranos, these are going to be a little hot, so you want to be careful. We're ready for the salsa verde. The first ingredient we're going to take is some cilantro. Now this is another of my pop ingredients. I'm going to take about a handful and put that into the food processor. And we're going to grind that up. It's just a little easier to grind it up when it's on its own first. Next, I'm going to take a raw shallot. I want a raw one because I want a little bit more bite than just the roasted. So we're going to grind that up too. Done. Next, our serrano chilies. These seeds are very hot, so we're going to pull the seeds out like that and just use the pepper. Wash your hands good after handling these seeds, believe me. A little chop, make it easier to chop up. And in they go. Next, we're taking those tomatillos. Now look at all that juice. These are going to go directly into the food processor. Oh, that smells so good. Grind it up. All right, let's have a taste. Ooh, that is hot, but it needs some salt. I'm going to use the Himalayan. I'm not using any other spices. We've got cilantro, we've got that hot serrano, and the tomatillos. This just needs a flavor enhancer, and that's how the Himalayan salt works, because it's got all of its minerals. It's not just sodium. I think we're good to go. Let's have one more taste. Perfect. So now we're ready to stuff our peppers, and it's super simple. All we have to do is make a little cut, only on one side. Now, this is the poblano pepper. We want to be careful because we're going to stuff this, so we don't want everything falling out. And what we want to do is reach in and pull the seeds in the membrane. Now, I'm trying to do that because I don't want to get these wet. I'm going to cover them with a batter coming up, so I don't want to do anything that will inhibit that action. Come on, baby. Come out. Now remember, one of these Anaheims had a cut in it already, so I don't want to recut. And there it is. Again, these Anaheims are a lot more delicate than the poblanos. So we're going to get rid of that plate. I'm going to get a little paper towel because I want to wipe those off. Good. A few seeds isn't a problem. You just want to get rid of the big amount. Remember the goat, mozzarella, and Asiago blend we made? That's what we're going to use. So in total, for 4 peppers, I've got about a cup of cheese in total. So we're just going to stuff that in. The Anaheims, again, it gets a little bit difficult in spots. And I know I'm going to have a bit of a blowout problem with this one, for sure. So I'm going to take it easy. And I'm also going to use some toothpicks to make sure. Just be careful where the toothpicks are and, you know, warn anybody potentially that, you know, that might be there. Good idea. All right, we're going to place those on a plate. Get them out of the way. We're on to making our batter. And the batter consists of egg whites. Now, some people mix the yolks back in, some people don't. I'm going to play it by ear. The thing is, whipping egg whites to soft peaks isn't as easy as it sounds, and is one of those reasons that I am sure a lot of people just say to a recipe. And the very reason this production is 3 days delayed. Now, the first rule of whipping eggs is room temperature. The second rule is do not get yolk in those whites. You've got to be super careful. The fat in the yolk will destroy the whippability. That was day 2. I don't know how I always got it right in the past, but again, when it was a plan, it became a problem. Gotta make sure you get a good crack in there. That's just not gonna work. See, now I'm all paranoid about the cracking and getting any of that yolk in. I'm freaking out. Don't get the yolk in. All right. I'm going to wash up. Next, we need to beat them. Rule 3 of beating egg whites to soft peaks is you need an airy bowl. Not something kind of closed up like I was using. No, no, no. You cannot do that. Now I'm making my attempt with my immersion blender yet again. Let's see if it works. And if not, I'm whipping them by hand. Basically, you want to kind of move it around and... Well, I can tell you it's taking off much better than it did in the past. I was using a glass container, and I think it was too closed because this is doing exactly what I need. Now, you can beat it with a whisk, but it's going to take you about 10 minutes. Oh yeah, here we go. And that is fast. I think it's even faster than a Mixmaster. We're getting the peaks. Now, a lot of recipes do call for the egg yolks to go back, but in this case, I don't really want them. I like just the fluffy egg whites. Okay, we got some peeking. Rule number 4 about egg whites with peaks is use them fast. Don't let them sit. We're good to go. This dish is fried And I know you're saying, Martine, how can this be healthy then? It's all in the choice of your oils. Today I'm choosing safflower oil. This one I have is organic and refined. I don't preach refined oils unless you are cooking, and then you've really got to choose wisely. A lot of people use canola oil and it's been marketed for high heat cooking, but it's not your number one choice at all. When I'm choosing a refined oil to use for high heat cooking, I want to see that it's being expeller pressed. In a typical canola oil that you'll find on the shelf, they do processes called bleaching and deodorizing. What that means is that with the use of chemicals, they are getting rid of the flavor and the color, anything inhibiting the shelf life. A lot of people use coconut oil. Again, if you're doing this type of cooking, I want to see it refined, but again, expeller pressed. Let's get this pan hot and get those peppers going. The first thing we want to do is make sure our oil is ready to go. And how do we do that? Toss a little in. If it starts frying, it's ready. Don't worry about your fingers. You're going to get a little messy here. All right, we're going to start with the poblanos. We're just going to rub them. Next poblano. Be careful, that oil is hot and you will burn yourself. Now, of course, my delicate Anaheims, I'm going to just kind of throw the batter on top. So I want to be careful with those, and I also want to keep them upright so the cheese doesn't fall out. Ooh, that could have been an accident. Be careful. Splatter, splatter. Now, you want to take that extra batter, just use it to your advantage. Coat them up. Try to coat out where that cheese is because you have to flip it. You want that to seep into the crevices. All right. What we're going to do is just take some paper towel and get ready. These are browning up very nicely. Just want to, okay, pretty good. Of course, my doors are wide open. If you were at home, you might want to use your fan. Just so they're not going to stick to the bottom. All right, we're ready for a flip. Now remember, you're probably only getting one try at this, so you better make it count. Just awesome. Okay, just a couple more minutes. I want it super golden. It's the one Anaheim that I had a bit of a tangle with before that is causing me a little grief here. That one's definitely mine. I don't care if it's pretty. I think we're good to go. Oh, yes, we are. Okay, yes, this is definitely mine, and it is a disaster. But that's okay, because I got 3 good ones. You have to be happy sometimes with what you have. And the flavor will be exactly the same, so it doesn't really matter, does it? All right, I'm going to plate it. So I'm just making a bed of salsa verde. And next, I'm going to take a poblano going to take the good Anaheim. I can eat the bad one later. To top it all off, I want a little extra. I want an avocado. Again, we don't have a lot of cheese in this dish. Okay, and we're just going to put a little bit on there just for a little decoration. Looks nice. And there you have it, Chiles Rellenos. I can hardly wait. I'm going to try the Anaheim first. Now this one should be a little bit hotter. Don't forget the toothpicks in there. All right. Make sure you get lots of the salsa verde on there. The goat mozzarella and Asiago really give it a bite. It's fabulous. Okay, let's try the poblano now. The Anaheim's got a bit of a nip to it, and so does that salsa verde. The poblano is way more mild, but both delicious. As you can see, this dish is an excellent way to warm up those people who are a little bit fearful of the fiery foods. You can start them off with the poblano, and slowly they can gravitate to the Anaheim. We've used 100% fresh ingredients. These are the things that help us to thrive at 50 and beyond. Simple mindfulness. You don't have to give up flavor to be healthy. If you enjoyed the video, I would just love it if you would subscribe to my channel. And of course, you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook. Thrive at 50. Buen provecho.